Professor X, the social media Chad. I could say the texting Prince Chads of the world. Psychologist Chad. Every woman has a hippie Chad in her life. Thots will always compare you to her Xmen. The Xmen are the mutants, the alpha mutants that possess unique and rare gifts most normal men don't have. The X's that she just cannot get rid of, the alpha widow mindset. Psychologist Chad. His gifts, he's able to read others' minds and control others through mind manipulation. All right, so you're going to have to deal with the Xmen in her life. So there's going to be those guys, the psychologist Chad, that knew everything about human nature. He knew exactly how to get her to behave in the most perfect way for him. He knew exactly how to reward certain behavior and how to ignore other behavior. It's psychologist Chad. He was able to give her mind stimulation like no other man was because he understands the human mind. It's psychologist Chad. So if you can't keep up by keeping her mind stimulated like psychologist Chad were, well, you know she's going to miss him. Another one here. We got Professor X. Now here's another part with the thoughts you have to deal with these days. You're going to have to deal with the social media Chad. I could say the texting Prince Chads of the world. The gifts that he can DM her the perfect thing at the perfect time, right when she needs that tiny piece of validation. So here's another thing that you have to deal with in this whole stream of things is that, remember, the thoughts that get all their validation from online. There are the guys that are total simps, and they just give her validation, and she has no likes or desires from those guys. There's just the simps. There's always going to be the simps. But there also are the social media Chads that you're going to have to deal with. Remember, these are her exes that at any time, those social media Chads can decide they want to turn their game on and send her a little text. They want to drop in her DMs. And they know the social media game so well that they're going to be able to read from her energy how she responds. They're going to be able to go, oh, the way she responded, something's not good in her relationship right now. Let's see if I can build on this a little bit. And they're going to be able to say the exact thing to get her to reveal information. You're going to have to deal with the social media Chads, the ones that could read her energy. They could read her tone, her emotion strictly through social media, through digital terms. You're going to have to compete with that. The guys that were able to figure this stuff out without her needing to tell them in person. And finally, Professor X. Hippie Chad. Here's one of the triggers. All right. Hippie Chad here. Because of his ability to control his astral self, Hippie Chad always gets her experimenting and taking her to new places spiritually. Okay? You are going to have the women that have ran into the Hippie Chads in her life. Every woman has a Hippie Chad in her life. It's a guy that made her think different spiritually. That's going to be the guy. And that's where, when you get into the things where there's like the cult leaders, and there's like these cults where these women would just do anything for the cult leader. It's like, there are the Hippie Chads that when they take her to a new place spiritually, she has this different look in her eye for this guy, the Hippie Chad. And that's going to be a trigger. Anytime you try to open her up to something new spiritually, it's going to trigger Hippie Chad. No one was quite the guru like Hippie Chad was. And if you don't ever make her move, make her question where she's at, make her self-think, she's going to then miss Hippie Chad, who always brought her to new places mentally. He always gave her a new experience and a new way to think about things. That is Mr. Hippie Chad. In conclusion, avoid any serious relationships with a thought, with a woman that's getting external validation from multiple men all at once, because you're going to have to deal with all of that crap. So by understanding this situation, you can happily avoid any long-term commitments to thoughts. Anytime you see a girl that has those patterns of the thought, she's always checking her social media, she's always posting online. I have some women that are like, Adam, why aren't you following me on Instagram? I'm like, well, why do I need to follow you? She's like, well, then you can see all my posts. I'm like, well, why don't, she's like, you can see when I, post a new cute outfit. I'm like, well, you should just be sending that to me anyway. You should just be texting that to me. I don't need to look at your Instagram to see that, right? Because women try to get these Instagram thoughts, try to get you to become one of their little, followers and all that stuff. So when you recognize there's a thought, avoid any type of serious relationships with her, because you're going to have to deal with her Xmen. And those are the Xmen that have been in different areas of her life, that anytime there's a certain specialized area, it's going to bring her back, and you're going to have to compete with her Xmen, and she's experienced so many of them. It is just going to be a hamster wheel to keep on running on. Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share the video, but definitely subscribe.